day 2 here in Oahu, and I just cannot believe this view here, you guys. So we are in a rental house that's at Eva Beach, which is on the west side. It's about 45-minute drive from the airport. It's so perfect, you guys. This is mostly a residential area, and I'm not going to show you a tour of the house, but I do have to show you the view from the master bedroom from the second floor of this rental house because it's so beautiful. But the people actually live here, so I'm not going to invade their privacy and show their rental house. They rent it out 1 week out of the month, each month, so I definitely don't want to like show the whole house because it's not just a rental property, it's actually their home as well. So I have to show you this backyard that we have for the next 8 days though, you guys. So this is full first day. We traveled for 19 hours yesterday, so not much video coverage except for us coming in. It was 19 hours from the time we left the house to the time that we finally got here. My mom and I got up to see the sunrise. It rose right above the Diamond Head crater, which we have a great view of. So I'm just going to flip the camera so you can see this view. This is the lanai that is off the master bedroom. So there's a great seating area that's right here. And just look at this beach view. This is so gorgeous, you guys. And then off in the corner, you can see, I'll try to zoom in, there is Diamond Head. So we have a perfect view of Diamond Head from here. So you can see Waikiki and Honolulu, but we are here at Eva Beach on the west side, and it's just mostly residential here. It's just so beautiful.
We decided to drive to the North Shore, and as you can see, the traffic can get a little bit crowded this time of year. It is the winter season. The waves are pretty intense, and so the surfers are trying to catch the biggest waves, and the parking can get limited, so it does back up the traffic a little bit, so be prepared for that if you are heading to the North Shore during the winter season. We decided to stop in the small town of Haleiwa. They do have some restaurants and some shops. It's a really neat little town. We decided to have breakfast at Cafe Haleiwa. I'm going to show you the menu. They do have breakfast and lunch, and if you eat here, you can park right behind the cafe. There's some limited parking behind here, and the breakfast was just okay, nothing very special. We did want to next check out the food trucks. So there's 2 different areas that we found here on the North Shore that has the food trucks. There's plenty of parking in front of the trucks here at this one, and the parking is free. They have burgers, shrimp, tacos, things like that. Not a lot of them are open right now just because it's still kind of the breakfast time, so they haven't started opening for lunch yet. And then there is a second food truck area, which you'll see right here, which you do have to pay $2 to park here. There are different food trucks with some seating in front. It's kind of shaded. There's the famous Giovanni's shrimp truck. As you can see, it's not too crowded right now because they did just open, so not a long line for this one. And then we decided the next stop we had to get some shave ice. So this is a little small area that has some shops and some restaurants, and you can park behind this free if there is parking available, but we decided to stay here to go to the famous shave ice of Matsumoto, and it's pretty reasonably priced. You can get a small one for $3.75, and that's what we chose to do. You can see here how they're making them. The line was not long at all when we were here, and I decided to get the Hawaiian, which is a combination of blue pineapple, coconut, and banana. And then on our way out of Haleiwa, you will cross over the famous Rainbow Bridge. And we just ventured on to one of the prettiest beaches, I believe, up on the North Shore, and that is Sunset Beach. My husband and I actually got married on this beach 18 years ago. It's absolutely beautiful. The water is perfect, and the waves are just a little bit high this time of year because it is winter. Next stop for today was the Dole Plantation. It's kind of in the center of Oahu, kind of close to the North Shore, so that's why we decided to do this the same day as we were doing the North Shore. So there are combo packages that you can do. You can just go in and you can look through the gardens. Each attraction that you want to do does cost. You can do all 3 attractions for one price, or you can do 2, or you can just do individual. So they do have a pineapple maze there. It's the biggest one in the United States at this time. They also have a train ride that you can do as well, and then you can just browse through the botanical gardens. So what we chose to do was the train ride and the maze because the kids really wanted to do the maze, and they thought the train ride would be fun. So I just want to say, before we turned in here, right across the street was another place that was from Dole, and they had a factory tour, which I thought would be a little bit more interesting than this one, but the kids wanted to do the train ride. That's why we went here. After doing the train ride, though, they did give you a little bit of information, but it was just going through a lot of overgrown areas. As you can see, there's old machinery that they had. And then there's also like the pineapple fields, and they tell you about the various growing phases of the pineapple. So it was a little bit interesting to do the train ride, but I feel like this is a very touristy place. I think it's a tourist trap. I feel like you might get a little bit more information, and it might be a little bit more interactive to go across the street to the factory tour. I think that one might be a little bit better than actually just coming to the Dole plantation. But you can do several things. The kids, my kids are 8 and 11, and they really enjoyed the maze pretty well. They did it in 30 seconds, which they said was the highest for the day. They also have the Dole Whip, which of course I had to try the Dole Whip out. There was a long line for it. Everybody wanted it. And of course there is a gift shop, but I felt that it was a little bit overpriced. Next stop was the Green World Coffee Farm. This is not too far from the Dole Plantation. They're kind of in the same vicinity. And here you can sample some of the different coffee flavors, and then also they have a coffee shop where you can buy some as well. This is the gift shop, so they also have where you can take home some coffee with you if there were some specific ones that you liked. Here are all the different flavors they had against the wall. They have small packages and big packages that you can purchase. And then after you sample some of the free coffee samples, you can go outside to their garden area, which if they have beans growing, you can see kind of what they look like, but we did not see any on these branches or anything like that, but it's also a really nice place to visit. First stop for day 3 was the macadamia nut farm called Tropical Farms. So you can actually go in there and sample some different types of coffees, like the macadamia nut flavored coffee. Also, you can taste some of the different macadamia nuts that they have. My favorite was just the salted and the honey roasted. So we did pick up a few of those to take home with us. Also, when you go outside, there's some coconut slices and some real fruit that you can purchase as well. And then if you see some macadamia nuts lying around, you can try your hand at smashing them open. So both my boys had to try to crack open a macadamia nut. So it was a lot of fun. Just up the road from the Tropical Farms is a beautiful park for lots of recreational activities where you can see Chinaman's Hat in the distance. You can walk to this at low tide, but be a very careful swimmer if you are doing that. You can also kayak and paddleboard to the Chinaman Hat Island, but this was just a great park to spend a little bit of time with the kids to let them run, play, and there is a beach area as well. One of the most beautiful drives on all of Oahu is driving the East Coast. So after you leave Chinaman's Hat, if you just continue to drive toward the North Shore, this is one of the most beautiful drives. It's just beautiful beaches on the side of the road. You can pick any beach. There's a little bit of parking at every one of the beach sites, and it's just absolutely stunning. And the beach is right beside the road, so you have beautiful views the entire way. So this is highly recommended just to do a scenic drive throughout all of the East Coast. If you continue to drive on the East Coast, you're going to pass the Polynesian Culture Center, which is a really great place to go for a little bit of the Polynesian culture. We did not have time to visit this area, but right past there, if you go through a subdivision, you come to this point right here. This lookout is so beautiful. I think it is one of the most understated, unrecognized areas, and it is a little bit crowded and cumbersome to get to because you are going through a subdivision. You might not even know how to get to this point, but if you type it in on Google search, it will send you to this place. And like I said, you're going through a subdivision. At the very end of the subdivision, it dead ends and comes to this beautiful point. There's only about 3 or 4 parking spots here, but it's absolutely beautiful and breathtaking views here at this little lookout point. Today we decided to do the Diamond Head hike, and it is 0.8 miles to get to the very top at the summit. There are several places that you could rest on the way up. There are steps. There is an incline tunnel at the end of those steps, and there's several places that you can have viewpoints on the way up as well. When you get to the top, it's absolutely breathtaking. You have views of Honolulu and Waikiki, and it's just really a beautiful hike. We did do our reservations at 8 o'clock, and they allow you like 2 hours there, but I think altogether it took about an hour and 30 minutes for us to hike to the top, look around, stay a little bit, and then hike back down to the bottom. Make sure you have plenty of water. You do have to make reservations before you enter. Parking is $10, and then the entry for everyone is $5 each. You do have to have the reservations before you get there. We are traveling in February of 2025, so they are doing construction. I'm not sure when that's going to end, so you might want to check the website first. But during the construction, they do close at 2 o'clock during the weekdays. On the weekends, they do stay open till 6 o'clock. But you do have to have your car past that tunnel before they close, or your car will stay there overnight. The next stop for the day were these lagoons. Our intentions were to snorkel here because it's kind of like a protected area away from the larger waves. This is on the west side, and it's actually at a resort, so you can see that there's beach chairs and everything set out for the resort. This is actually lagoon number 3. When we got there, we were wanting to go to lagoon number 4, but it's under construction right now, so they have it closed. So we did park at lagoon 4, and there's a little walkway that will take you directly to lagoon 3 as well. But this is a neat little area if you have smaller kids and want to keep them in a protected area that doesn't have a lot of waves. This is a great place to go. I'm not sure how the snorkeling is here. Since we were going to be in Waikiki for some whale watching, we decided to stop by Leonard's Bakery for some malsadas. We have heard so much about them, and being donut lovers, we definitely had to try these out. We did get original, and we got several that were stuffed with the filling.
That's good.
For the whale watching journey, we chose Hawaii Ocean Project, and we did book directly through them. You can book through Viator and other places like that, but we decided to book directly with them, and you do catch the whale watching tour from the Ala Moana Boulevard Harbor. They are on slip 497, and it was actually reasonably priced. It's a 2-hour journey, and it was $49 for adults and $24.95 for kids. And they don't take you very far offshore. As you can see, you can still see Waikiki and Honolulu and Diamond Head off in the distance. And it was just 2 hours. We had a little bit of ride out. We did watch certain whales twice, but all we saw was a tail fin, which we know is a deep dive. For lunch, we decided to go to the fish market, and this was the best meal that we had on the island, and that's why we went here twice, once for lunch and once for dinner. I got the mahi-mahi that was sauteed, which had a garlic wine and butter sauce, and it was so good. As you can see, it's delicious. And then we also got some fried shrimp and some fish and chips. We started this day at the Aloha Stadium swap meet. So they have vendors all the way around the vicinity of the Aloha Stadium. This is only open on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays. We chose to come here on a Wednesday because we had a whole day planned at Pearl Harbor as well because of a special tour that we were doing there that's only held on Wednesdays. So this worked out really great because these are basically across the street from each other. So if you're wanting to do Pearl Harbor and the swap meet, that's a great all-day adventure. But if you want to pick up some souvenirs or some local flavors, this is a great place to go for cheaper prices, and they also have some food trucks here as well. So after the swap meet, we decided to go to Pearl Harbor because they are in the same vicinity. And the reason that we were going to Pearl Harbor on Wednesday was because of the Ford Island tour. At the time that we made our tickets, they were only available on Wednesdays at 3:15. But now I have noticed that they have added another tour on Mondays and Fridays as well, which is great because those tickets are very hard to get. They become available 2 weeks before the departure date that you're wanting to do the tour, and they sold out for us within 1 minute. So before a minute was up, after they went on sale, they had already sold out all the tickets, and there's only 25 slots that are available per tour, so they're pretty hard to get. So we were really excited that we were able to get the Ford Island tour tickets. So we chose the 2 o'clock ferry tickets. They gave us plenty of time before to watch the film and also to visit the museum areas. And then we caught the ferry to ride over to the Arizona Memorial. And you have 15 minutes there after the ferry drops you off before you have to catch the ferry to come back. So that gives you plenty of time to kind of look around and just reflect on what exactly went down here and all the lives that are still trapped in the USS Arizona. There's also a wall of remembrance for you to just check out all the people that are entrapped still in the Arizona. As you can see, oil is still leaking from there to this day, even many years after. Once you get back to the main area where you left the ferry, there's also a walk of remembrance where you can see some other information there as well. But this is just so sombering to be there and to know exactly what went down in this exact area that you're standing over. Then once you get back to the main area where your museum and your theater is to see the film, that's where we met with the group that took us over to Ford Island. So I think that the 2 o'clock ferry ticket is perfect if you're doing the Ford Island tour as well. It gives you plenty of time to do some things beforehand, and then once you get back, it gives you time to get a snack before you actually take the trolley ride over to Ford Island. So this is the entrance into Ford Island. We're on one of those double-decker trolleys. It's a 90-minute ride, and you get to see the Utah, so you can see the Utah is submerged as well. You can see a little bit of it above. This is also the Missouri, which I believe that they have tickets where you can go inside the Missouri. We did not do that. This is also the Oklahoma. So this is their memorial for all of the people on the USS Oklahoma. It's called Manning the Rails. So as you can see, this memorial looks like the rails, and that's why they did that. You'll also see every single name on each one of these railings, and then you'll see the insignia. Most of them are Navy, but there are a few Marines there as well. So this was just very reflective to just see all of the people that were above the Oklahoma. But the Oklahoma is not talked about very much. But this tour was really great because it gave you an in-depth of some of the people that were on board. Like we were giving the story of 3 brothers that were all on board the Oklahoma, and just their story and how they were considered heroes, and all the other people that were on board and the sacrifices that they made. So we got some individual personal history of some of the people that were on board the Utah and the Oklahoma by doing this, and it was just really great to come over here to Ford Island. We started the day today to hike the Lanakai Pillbox. So this is not considered a very easy hike. There are a lot of rocks and loose gravel. You do have to have some good hiking shoes. There are even ropes at certain points to help you up the grade and also down the grade, so you can see the terrain that you're going through. There's wide parts in some parts, but then there's also some narrow parts as well. But let me just tell you, the view from the top is absolutely gorgeous. You can see Kailua Beach, you can see Lanakai Beach, you can also see the offshore islands. This is such a beautiful hike, and you can pace yourself and take your time. I didn't feel like it was too strenuous as far as cardio-wise, but you do have to kind of maneuver around rocks and things like that and just make sure that you're steady on your feet. But look at the views once you get to the very top. This isn't even to the top. This is one of the lookout points before you get to the pillbox, which is absolutely beautiful and breathtaking as well. But I would highly recommend this hike if you're someone that is in adequate shape without any kind of knee problems or anything like that. This pillbox does kind of get crowded sometimes, but it is an absolutely beautiful view. We started our hike at about 9 o'clock a.m. and we got down to the bottom probably around 10:45, so it wasn't too bad. We did lots of stops just so I could take some pictures and videos because it was just so beautiful. You do have this one part right here that's a little bit narrow that I wanted to make sure that I could show you, but my 8-year-old did it, so it's kid friendly. After our hike, we were so excited to cool down in the water at Hanama Bay. So we chose to come here to snorkel because this is supposed to be the place to snorkel on the island of Oahu. It is $25 per person entrance fee. Children 12 and under are free. There's a tram that will take you from the top all the way down to the bay. It runs about every 10 minutes. It will also take you back up to the top. There's restroom facilities there, and there's not a lot of shade, so you might want to come early to try to get some shade. Now, you do have to make reservations, and they are timed. There's certain time slots that are available, and there's just a certain amount each time slot. So we chose to go on Thursday. The tickets start to go on sale 2 days prior, so we went online on Tuesday at 7 a.m. They go on sale at 7 a.m. Some of the early morning were already booked. We wanted to come around 8:30, but those were already booked. It sold out very quickly, and it is very hard to try to get those early slots. And we were on at 7 o'clock, and the earliest slot that we could get was at 12:20, right in the middle of the day. You're supposed to come 30 minutes prior to try to make sure that you have your parking that's available, because they say that if you don't come early, there's a chance that you might not have your parking. So I just thought that it was a little bit cloudy this day that we were there. We did see a few fish, but it just wasn't real clear. I figured that it would be a little bit more clear. We'd see a little bit more fish since this is the place to snorkel. Someone that was there did say they saw a sea turtle. We did see some really beautiful fish around the reef areas. It's very shallow in some parts and just really easy to get to the areas where you can see the fish. So this is a really great place to spend a few hours if you want to do some snorkeling. Just remember that it is a $25 entrance fee and that you do need to come at your specified time in order to gain access to the parking facility. We wanted to hike to Waimea Falls while we were here, and the entrance fee is $25 to be able to look at the villages and the grounds and all of the valley, and then also go to the waterfall. You can swim at the waterfall. Life jackets are provided there. It is a must that you have a life jacket while you're swimming in the waterfall. It's a really relatively easy hike. It's completely paved the entire way. You can take your stroller, wheelchairs, anything like that all the way. As you can see, it's nice and wide and paved. It's a virtually easy hike to get to the falls, not long at all to get out there. And then once you get out there, if you choose to swim, the life jackets are provided for you free of charge. Tips are appreciated for it. The only one in our group that wanted to swim was my youngest. He's 8 years old. The water was super cold, but he wanted to swim to the falls and get under the falls, so that's an option. As you can see, it does get a little bit crowded at the falls in the little swimming area, but this was a really nice hike. Now, we did not have to pay the $25 entrance fee per person because we actually did a luau that was on site. It's the Toa Luau, which I highly recommend, you guys. This one is so nice. We have been to Jermaine's luau before, and I loved this one a little bit more because they had some activities before the luau even started, which was great for the kids. Showed you how to peel bananas, coconuts, and then it also had this little game that my little boy that's 8 was playing with someone else, and then my husband and my oldest also played this game as well. There's all kinds of activities. You can braid a little crown, and we all did that as well. Plus, they also show you the cooking process that they do, and then they also had someone that climbed a tree as well. This was really entertaining, and I just thought this was a really good personal luau that kind of made you feel like family. The food was fantastic, and like I said, if you wanted to do the falls, that was included in the price of your luau. So that one was really good, and I just highly recommend this one. This is my favorite luau by far, and this is the last thing that we wanted to do while we were on the island. So I'm just going to let you enjoy this little introduction to some of the acts that were there at the luau.